This Homo Politicos on Enterprise Television. Kingsley Bassey is my name. Thanks for joining the broadcast. Let's talk politics, core politics in Nigeria towards 2027. It's 2025 now. As a matter of fact, it's the month of April 2025, but the talks ahead of the 2027 general election are started. Well, in the dynamic landscape of Nigerian politics, change, is constant. But are we witnessing a shift too drastic for democracy to withstand in Nigeria? In recent months, we've seen several happenings within the political scene, especially a wave of defections from opposition parties with prominent figures crossing over to the governing All Progressives Congress. This trend has raised alarm bells and sparked heated debates, and particularly one question which has been on the lips of many persons, political observers and Nigerians alike: is Nigeria gradually tilting toward a one-party state? What does this mean for the health of the Nigerian democracy, the strength of political institutions, and the voices of dissent in Nigeria? Today, we get straight into that conversation, a very crucial one. And I want to know, is this realignment a natural evolution in politics, or it's a red flag signaling democratic backsliding in Nigeria? I'm joined at this moment by political commentator Gbenga Oyenuga Paul. He joins me virtually. Gbenga, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Well, Kingsley Bassey is my name. Welcome to the show. Gbenga, let's talk real quick about one of the biggest defections we've seen in the past few months. Maybe some big ones to come, but the defection of the governor of Delta State from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressives Congress, alongside the structure of the PDP in Delta State, has sparked a debate since this happened. And the vice presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the 2023 general election, just to put things in further perspective, 2 years ago, who happens to be the immediate past governor of Delta State, Ifeanyi Okowa, has joined the incumbent governor, to move to the All Progressives Congress. Do you think, Gbenga, that these defections indicate a collapse in opposition party structures, or you think there's a lack of ideological difference between parties?
Well, as you know, politics is always about interests, and everybody aligns and realigns their interests based on the political expediencies of the day. And so for me, I don't see anything special in what they are doing, because politicians worldwide always want to survive, and so in some countries, they will openly defect. In some other countries, they will not defect, but they will be working for the party in power behind the scene, while coming online or on the scene to bash them as though there is enmity. But the style that the Nigerian political space usually play up is that to show loyalty, you have to defect. And once you defect, let me borrow the word of former APC national chairman Adams Oshiomhole, who is a senator now, who said, and I quote, that once you defect to APC, all sins are forgiven. And so I see that playing out, because a lot of them have business interests that staying out of power at the federal level will affect. And so for those benefits and some other reasons best known to them, they do all of these things. And to answer your question earlier, where you said, are we sliding into a one-party state? I don't believe that we are sliding into a one-party state. I believe that these defections at this time around speaks to the political sagacity of the president, who has a master stroke in bringing all hands on deck and bringing everybody on board to work for the interest of his own party. As can be seen, there is no known evidence to show that maybe the president coerced those who defected. You know, it just must have made them.
But as you reference, Benga, we know this is politics. Yes. This is politics, and there is no impossibility, not of a coercion, not of a threat, but as you reference, this move by politicians, knowing that if they align with the party at the center, maybe indeed their sins will be forgiven. This is coming just months after the former Delta State governor, the vice presidential candidate of the PDP, who has now moved, I'm talking Ifeanyi Okowa, was taken into custody for questioning by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Some have said that, well, maybe he's doing this remembering what Adams Oshiomhole once said, his sins could be forgiven.
Even at that, the president was in the opposition for between 2007 to 2015. That's almost 8 years that he was in the opposition. And during those periods, he was made to stand trial with the Code of Conduct Tribunal and several other trials. But he came out unscathed. We know how Nigerian politics goes. And of course, the judicial system. Once you have good lawyers and you have a good war chest, you can prolong case till infinitum such that nothing will happen to you. So while that might be part of the reasons, but I don't think that is a reason enough to make him, except they are not men enough, bold enough, or strong enough to have a watertight case, that will make them untouchable. But be that as it may, if there is any form of coercion, we would have heard all of these things would have leaked in one way or the other, that it was this coercion, that coercion, that. But from all the stories that are coming from different sources in the grapevine, there does not seem to be any form of coercion. It is more of political survival for an interest for many of them. Don't forget that some northern power bloc, they are aligning and realigning to make sure that the North vote in bloc, if possible, for their candidate in the coalition they are trying to make. And so I am seeing this, it's my own perspective, it may be wrong, that the president knows that he will still get his vote from the North because he still has a lot of his supporters there, but he's trying to make sure that he gets this time around a bloc vote from the southern middle belt axis of the country, such that the middle belt and southern part of the country, both southeast, south, and southwest, will be unanimous in their voice through their votes come next election.
Talking about votes, right, how does this trend, this wave of defections and the nature of defections that we're seeing, it's not one of those defections that you hear, one particular political figure alongside the political structure, or you hear things like, hundreds of political party members moved to the governing party. These are real figures. I'm talking political figures who have structures.
Who are currently in power.
Exactly, and have structures that could shake or move things. Though the last election figures from the last election, what data shows does not necessarily speak in that light when it comes to the presidential election, because even in these regions, the man who got the numbers in terms of vote cast was Peter Obi, and was Peter Obi, yes, and it doesn't belong to the PDP. But that said, do you think that this trend could affect the democratic process going forward, and even voter confidence in the political system? A system where voters are seeing that, politicians keep moving and moving. How do they trust the system?
Well, it shows to Nigerians that politics is beyond emotion. A lot of the vote that Peter Obi got in the last election, you and I know that most of them are emotional votes. And because they are emotional votes, that's why a lot of people, Labour Party candidates who did not even campaign enough or do enough, won their constituency. Who would have thought that a Banky W, who is very popular, in PDP and as a Nigerian, would lose to what is that name? Yofa Chief or something like that, you know, who was the Labour Party candidate for Lagos Island. And then Musli Albaniko's son, and Banky W will lose to that guy. And because these people have now shown their true color, many of them having gotten to the National Assembly on the platform of that emotional vote in the last election, we've seen many of them now defected from even the Labour Party to the ruling APC for expediency. So I think it opens the eyes of the voters more to be logical rather than emotional when it comes to the next series of election, which is on the long run going to be beneficial to the Nigerian political system, because now voters will be more conscious and not emotional when they are casting their vote.
Those who definitely would debate and disagree with you that those votes cast emotional. But let's very quickly move to the final question on the show, because we got to go. Can we still hold elections, Gbenga, in this country that will reflect the real or true political competition under these conditions where politicians are moving from one party to another? Do you think that the next, especially 2027 elections, could reflect real competition? Do you think 2027 is going to be competitive? Some say already it's going to be a walk in the park for the president.
Nah, I don't believe it's going to be a walk in the park for the president. I believe we can still have an election that will reflect a very competitive voting pattern in the country. All that will require for that to happen is that politician needs to now prepare earlier. You know, before now, politicians will wait for 1 year to the election, 6 months to the election, 9 months to the election, especially politicians in the opposition party, before, you know, doing their groundwork and their homework. And you see, politics stands on a tripod. One is money, the other leg of the tripod is people, the third leg is time. You know, most often than not, the people in opposition party do not have as much money as people in the main party, in the ruling party. They do not have as much people as people in the ruling party. Now, time that's supposed to be advantageous to them, many of them do not take full advantage of it. They wait till 9 months, 1 year before election, before starting to do their groundwork. We have 2 years to the next election now. And if politicians in the opposition party want to bring out a shocker, one, they need to be realistic as to their ambition. So if you look at the resources you have, and you see that these resources you have is likely going to help you win at the State House of Assembly level, don't be gunning for the National House of Rep. If you see that so gunning for Senate, if it will help you to win for Senate, don't be gunning for governorship. You know, be first and foremost realistic to yourself, so that that resources will be like the Yoruba adage that says we should be on one spot so that it can form very well. Not that it will be scattered everywhere and then the impact will not be felt.
Gbenga, we'll just leave things there. We'll continue to monitor this. We hear even further reports of more defections to come. Some have said that the presidential candidate of the New Nigeria People's Party, most likely the deal is done for him to move to the All Progressives Congress. Meanwhile, there are talks of coalition happening with the Social Democratic Party at the center of that. We'll see how that goes. Of course, you cannot dismiss the might of Atiku Abubakar, former vice president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and presidential candidate of the PDP in the 2023 general election, who's most likely looking to contest again in 2027. There is Peter Obi of the Labour Party, and indeed we don't know which other candidates would be throwing his or her hat in the ring for the next elections. But we'll leave things here. As mentioned, Gbenga Oyenuga Paul is a political commentator. He joined me virtually today on Homo Politicus. Thank you so much, Gbenga.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate that. Well, our Nigerians, there you go. We will see how things go. We'll keep monitoring this development, political development, and bring you further conversations. Until next time on Homo Politicus, please be safe. God continue to bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Kingsley Bassey is my name. Bye for now.